Hello, welcome back to another breaking news update. My name is Jimmy Boyd, and you were watching Boyd News. I want to thank you so much for tuning in today. All right, so I want to talk to you guys about the Houthi rebels of Yemen, and we talked a lot about them last year as they were attacking a lot of commercial ships. Things are getting tense between the U.S. military and also the Houthis once again, and now also involving Iran because we know Iran is funding the Yemen Houthis. I want to show you guys some different information coming out from the Middle East right now as things are getting pretty crazy down there. Houthis resume attacks on commercial ships. U.S. launches strikes. You can see here on your screen. These strikes were carried out on Saturday. CENTCOM forces were bombing Yemen once again, launching multiple strikes, going after reportedly Houthi leaders. President Trump escalated tensions with Iran on Monday, declaring that any additional strikes from Yemen's Houthi militants will be seen as a direct attack from Iran and be met with great force. Okay, so we had U.S. military assets being targeted down, I believe, near the Bab al Mandeb Straits or the Gulf of Aden, near Yemen. So this kind of all started about a week ago. We had Israel blockading aid to Gaza once again. This is to put pressure on Hamas to release more prisoners and push for the ceasefire deal that's currently trying to move to phase two, last I knew. Soon after that, we had the Houthis vowing to start attacking Israeli ships once again to put pressure on Israel as they are blockading the Gaza Strip. So basically, that's the Houthis standing in solidarity with the Palestinians who are being put under pressure right now from Israel cutting off aid over there. And then the U.S. launched strikes over the weekend on Saturday, as I mentioned earlier. These were these strikes on Houthi leaders. Soon after that, just yesterday on Sunday, we had the Houthis retaliating, going after the USS Harry Truman, reportedly. It's an aircraft carrier that's located down there near Yemen and could have been attacked twice. We know for sure it was at least attacked once, according to the Houthis. And I think they said they used something like 18 missiles and some drones to target that aircraft carrier. Now, today, we've got Donald Trump coming out and warning Iran that any future attacks on American ships, Iran is going to be responsible for these attacks. So things are just escalating very quickly. And I want to give you guys much information what's going on down here. This was video footage coming out from over the weekend. U.S. CENTCOM forces were deploying their warplanes to launch strikes inside of Yemen. Okay, so we'll try to cover as much as we can with what's going on with this situation, get you caught up to date here. This is on ABC News. U.S. strikes took out multiple Houthi leaders. National Security Advisor Mike Waltz reported. Houthis then launched a successful counterstrike on Sunday again. So this is what happened on Saturday here, and it says the United States airstrikes that bombarded Yemen over the weekend targeted and took out multiple leaders of the Iranian-backed Houthis. White House National Security Advisor Mike Waltz said Sunday. Okay, and this report did come out yesterday as well on the 16th. Speaking on ABC's This Week, Waltz argued to co-anchor Martha Raddatz that these latest strikes differed from the countless strikes former President Joe Biden's administration launched against the rebel group, explaining that President Donald Trump's administration has taken the extra step of designating the Houthis as a foreign terrorist organization. These were not kind of pinprick back and forth, what ultimately proved to be reckless attacks, Waltz said. This was an overwhelming response that actually targeted multiple Houthi leaders and took them out, and the difference here is one, going after the Houthi leadership, and two, holding Iran responsible. Finally, it says right here, Waltz accused Iran of helping the Houthis attack U.S. warships and global commerce. Some 70% of global commerce is now diverting around South Africa to avoid the Houthis, resulting in higher shipping costs and supply chain issues. So you can see how it's a big problem when the Houthis come out saying they're going to attack ships. A lot of ships will no longer go through the Red Sea shipping lane, which basically makes these ships have to go around the Horn of Africa, and I think it's upwards of another 1,000 miles or something like that. They have to, use more fuel, and it's going to cost more for shipping supplies, getting things transported around the world, and then we start seeing the raising of global prices. So you can see how that's a major issue here. So that's why we're having the U.S. also launching these strikes on the Houthis to try to get them to prevent attacking ships over here. And also some news that not only Israeli ships, but also U.S. ships are going to be attacked now also due to the U.S. launching strikes over the weekend. I'll show you guys that information here in just a minute. But now we'll jump on over here to the Middle East Eye, and I want to show you guys how the Houthis are responding to what's going on. So Houthi leader condemns U.S.-Israeli aggression, vows to support Gaza. This came out yesterday, also March 16th, 2025. And just briefly, it says here Abdul Malik al Houthi, leader of Yemen's Houthi movement, has accused the U.S. of launching a new wave of aggression against Yemen through air raids and naval bombardments. He stated, "The aim of this aggression is to stop our support for the Palestinian people who face starvation and genocide under the Israeli occupation." Al Houthi criticized the lack of international action, saying there is no serious move or real pressure to force aid into Gaza. America is a partner in Israel's crimes, enabling its plans and desires. He warned that failure to break the blockade encourages further atrocities, adding the Israeli enemy, with American support, is committing genocide in Gaza, and this cannot be tolerated. The Houthi leader reaffirmed their decision to start to target Israeli shipping as a means to pressure the entry of humanitarian aid. Our decision to support Gaza by banning Israeli navigation concerns only the Israeli enemy, he said. Al Houthi emphasized that the only solution is to allow aid into Gaza and end the starvation of its residents, stating, "The Israeli enemy escalates its crimes whenever there is no global pressure or confrontation." So you can see why the Houthis are now putting pressure on Israel, trying to target their ships and prevent any ships from going through the Red Sea shipping lanes. They'll have to go around Africa. And this to put pressure on Israel to lift the blockade on the Palestinians over there, who are now starting to suffer. Many of them don't have any running water, electricity. I think Israel also cut off electricity to Gaza recently over the last week as well. So you can see how it's creating a lot of tensions over here. So now we'll jump on over to X, and I want to talk about a few things that I have for you guys over here. This from ViceGrad24 breaking. The Houthis announced that U.S. ships are banned from passing through the Bab al-Mandeb Strait and the Red Sea from now on. Okay, this also came out yesterday, and I'm showing you guys a lot of this information from over the weekend, as yesterday I was not here. So there's just a lot of things were just happening from Saturday up until now. So this is the Red Sea right here, and we got the Bab al-Mandeb Strait, where a lot of ships get attacked in this area, the Gulf of Aden. They travel through here, up on over through the Suez Canal near Egypt, and it just cuts off a lot of excess traveling, and now a lot of these ships have to go south. I know the map's cut off, but they got to go around Africa down here instead of through the Red Sea. So it's going to cost a lot more now for global shipping, which is going to create more inflation throughout the world and more issues, obviously, right? Okay, so now we've got U.S. and Israeli ships that could be targeted by the Houthis. So here's a report from Intel Tower breaking it. Under President Trump's orders, the U.S. Navy's Harry S. Truman Carrier Strike Group carried out an attack on a Houthi target in the Sana'a, the capital of Yemen. The strikes targeted the Houthis' drones, air defenses, and missiles to free up Red Sea shipping lanes. Okay, these were the attacks that happened on Saturday. Just want to show you guys this briefly real quick. We got a short video. I think it's like 5 seconds. We'll take a look at this real quick. Okay, so we can see some sort of airstrike was carried out over here inside of Yemen over the weekend. And from what we understand, there was at least like 50 people that were killed. I think it was 53 killed and up to 100 that were injured. So these were major airstrikes taking place inside of Yemen over the weekend. So I've got a few things I can show you guys over here as well. Some pictures coming out from Sana'a over the weekend. Also, we had more airstrikes being carried out. Lots of U.S. warplanes were flying into Yemen to try to launch strikes over here and reportedly taking out Houthi leaders, at least according to U.S. leadership. Now we'll move on to Stephen Maturo. Daring Houthis now trained their guns on Americans. We attacked the U.S. aircraft carrier USS Harry Truman with 18 ballistic missiles and drones. We will not hesitate to target all U.S. warships in the Red Sea and Arabian Sea, they warned. Okay, so just a quick clip, about a minute long. This is going to be Yahya Saree, the military spokesperson for the Yemen Houthis, him coming out claiming they reportedly targeted the USS Harry Truman aircraft carrier that you can see here in the photo. So we'll start with this real quick.
شن العدو الأمريكي عدوانا سافرا على بلدنا خلال الساعات الماضية بأكثر من 47 غارة جوية استهدفت مناطق عدة في محافظات صنعاء وصعدة والبيضاء وحجة وضمار ومارب والجوف. وارتكب العدو الأمريكي عددا من المجازر، حيث أدى هذا العدوان إلى استشهاد وجرح العشرات في حصيلة غير نهائية. وردا على هذا العدوان نفذت القوات المسلحة بعون الله تعالى عملية عسكرية نوعية استهدفت من خلالها حاملة الطائرات الأمريكية USS هاري ترومان والقطع الحربية التابعة لها شمالي البحر الأحمر، وذلك ب18 صاروخا باليستيا ومجنحا وطائرة مسيرة في عملية مشتركة نفذتها القوة الصاروخية وكذلك سلاح الجو المسير والقوات البحرية.
All right, so this is the first time under the Trump administration that we're starting to see major airstrikes being carried out in Yemen, and also the Houthis are now attacking ships in the Red Sea once again. This happened a lot under the Biden administration. I let you guys know that last year we covered this topic a lot with the Red Sea shipping lanes. There was well over 100 ships being targeted, some of them even being hit. We even had some crew members on some of these ships being killed due to these attacks. So you can see how things are escalating here very quickly. Here's just a photo of an aircraft carrier. I believe it should be the Harry Truman that reportedly was targeted. As far as we know, it wasn't hit. U.S. media stating that apparently they thwarted the attack, but who really knows? Looks like they did prevent that attack. But here's a report now from Vicegrad 24 breaking. Trump sends a message to Iran. Every shot fired by the Houthis will be looked upon from this point forward as being a shot fired from the weapons of the leadership of Iran. And Iran will be held responsible and suffer the consequences, and those consequences will be dire. Okay, this just came out today from Donald Trump on True Social on his platform. So he said here, "Let nobody be fooled. The hundreds of attacks being made by Houthis, the sinister mobsters and thugs based in Yemen who are hated by the Yemeni people, all emanate from and are created by Iran. Any further attack or retaliation by the Houthis will be met with great force, and there is no guarantee that the force will stop there. Iran has played the innocent victim of rogue terrorists from which they've lost control, but they haven't lost control. They're dictating every move, giving them weapons, supplying them with money and highly sophisticated military equipment, and even so-called intelligence. Every shot fired by the Houthis will be looked upon from this point forward as being a shot fired from the weapons of the leadership and the leadership of Iran, and Iran will be held responsible and suffer the consequences, and those consequences will be dire." And it says here, Donald J. Trump, President of the United States of America. So we can see here, Trump coming out with a major threat to Iran now, as we know Iran is supplying the Houthis with weapons, and he's claiming here also intelligence. We've heard about that in the past, intelligence that the Houthis can use to target ships. So it looks like Donald Trump's not messing around here, and I'm very curious to see how he's going to respond. So far, very aggressively to the Houthis, like we saw those major strikes over the weekend, going after Houthi leaders. So tensions are just really building up over here in the Middle East with Iran and also the Yemen Houthis being the proxies of Iran. So crazy news coming out here. A few more things to show you guys. World Source News 24/7, Iran's Revolutionary Guards have been ordered to put all missile forces on a state of full alert. Okay, so you can see here Iran's military now going on high alert as well with their missile forces and preparing to launch a retaliatory attack if they come under attack in any way by the US or maybe Israel. Things are definitely heating up very quickly. Now, from the informant, the Houthis have declared a general mobilization and are currently staging a large-scale rally in Sana'a, Yemen's capital. The group claims that a broad strategy is in motion to counter recent U.S. aggression and military escalation with a robust response of their own. Additionally, the Yemeni Houthis have issued Israel a new 4-day ultimatum to lift the humanitarian blockade on Gaza, threatening to resume tanker operations in the Red Sea if their demands are not met. So yeah, the Houthis now claiming they're going to start attacking these ships again inside the Red Sea, and we're going to start seeing more ships getting hit. And as far as I know, I don't even know if the coalition is still down there. I'm not sure if the UK is there. We know that the US is still down there near Yemen, but at one point France was down there. The UK had ships down there, and a lot of times the joint strikes were being carried out by the US and the UK to strike targets inside of Yemen. But this was a huge rally being held today in support for Gaza and also for what's happening between the US and Yemen right now. So we've seen this before where they hold a lot of these major large-scale rallies down there, okay? Now, from open source intel new, the U.S. Fifth Fleet has now entered a phase of sustained combat operations within CENTCOM's area of responsibility. Okay, this is not good news as well. This means that the U.S. is most likely going to carry out more strikes against the Houthis, and also just a couple weeks back, the U.S. designated the Houthis as a terrorist organization or foreign terrorist organization, and this will give them more abilities to carry out more strikes in there and go after more targets inside of Yemen. So it looks like we're going to be seeing more attacks happening down here, maybe with ships in the Red Sea shipping lanes, but also the US going to be carrying out more and more strikes against the Houthis. Finally, one last thing to show you guys from Cheryl E. If you're still wondering why the US has been attacking the Houthis in Yemen, this is why. So they showed a little picture here that I wanted to share with you guys, just so you can kind of understand. This shipping lane right here, the yellow one, you can see is much shorter than this one going around Africa. So this is a big problem when Yemen starts saying they're going to attack these ships here that go through the Red Sea. Now these ships have to divert and go around Africa, like I was stating, adding up to potentially more than 1,000 miles of extra travel time and increasing the cost of shipping. Okay, so this is the big problem that we're seeing now, and a lot of ships are already starting to divert from what we understand. So things are getting pretty crazy and wild over here. Just wanted to give you guys an update on the situation with the Houthis. And this is also tying into Iran. And at some point, we could see this escalating over to Iran. And now we've got a war with the US and Iran, which it looks like that could potentially be inevitable, as we know that the US might carry out some strikes over there to hit their nuclear facilities. So things are heating up very quick over here, and I wanted to share some details with you guys. So I want to thank you so much for tuning in for this update. If you got something out of this, please smash that like button. Also, if you enjoy my content, please consider subscribing down below. Hit the notification bell, that way YouTube can notify you. With that, hope you all have a great day. Everybody take care and God bless, and we'll see you in the next one.